We did a limited run of the park. There were over 700 computers that had to be configured to be park ready. Because of the staggering of the classes, our middle schools took 30 days to deliver the tests. That was 6 weeks of school. So for 30 days, nobody else in the school had access to any computers. Our elementary schools were the same thing. For multiple weeks, really multiple weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, no other student had access to the computers that were normally in the classroom or on carts that could be brought in to supplement instruction. So nobody had access.
When we administered the park at Burr, one of the things that I found most painful was watching our most conscientious students just sitting there staring at the screen. And they kind of hoped that if they just looked at that question long enough, it was going to make sense. And as a grown-up, I was watching them and I was empathizing because I was thinking of reading some of the questions in the practice test. And they didn't make sense to me. And I was a grown-up and I knew it was a bad question. And they were 8-year-olds and they thought it was them. They thought that the reason they couldn't understand the question was that because they were not smart enough.
On a screen for the park test, there are 2 different scroll bars. So 8-year-olds had to know how to scroll down to read a passage and then scroll down to answer their questions.
Children are being asked to write essay answers in a window which is about 1.5 inches tall and about 4 inches wide.
These are 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds, and going between mouse and trackpads and being able to use all these tools. It was very difficult. I mean, it was not a natural process. It felt very forced.
You and I don't compose text under those circumstances, and neither should children have to do that. That doesn't seem right.
And if a teacher was having a problem, there was really no good way to get help for it. They were putting cones out in the hallway, which would signal that they needed some assistance, and the IT specialists were running up and down the hallways trying to get into people who were having issues.
When I think about how much time and energy and money Newton put into getting us ready for the park test, I really worry about how this could play out in communities which are not as affluent.
Is it worth it to spend 8 weeks out of the school year to prepare and deliver a test to take away all of the resources for technology for 8 weeks?
This is not a well-designed test. The questions aren't good. The technology wasn't good. The passages were too hard. It seemed a test which just wasn't fair to students.